I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Nicole Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good morning, Nicole Jones-Crossley. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful morning?
I'm well. How are you?
I am excellent. It's a great pleasure to connect with you. What part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in Bangkok, Thailand.
All right. And which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time?
Oh, wow. I think my relationship building and networking skills, probably.
Ooh, so who did you learn that from, Nicola?
I think both my mom and my dad probably had some impact in that. My mom with her social skills, she's a very sociable person. She connects with everyone and she's able to relate to people from all walks of life. And my dad, I guess, with his business hustle, he was always a sole trader. He worked under his own company, so he was always connecting professionally with different contacts. So I think I got a little bit of both from them.
That's intriguing. How does it impact on the business you do now?
Well, I run a business called AKIN Asia, and we are essentially a community of professionals that promotes and celebrates and supports female leadership here in Bangkok, Thailand. So it is a network of people, and I do need to be a relationship builder in that sense in my role with this organization. So it very much impacts what I do now.
That's intriguing. Now tell us a bit more about what you're doing at AKIN Asia, please.
Yeah, sure. So it's a community, as I said, that promotes and supports female leadership, and how we do that is by running events. So we run a series of events this past year that has been called Celebrating Women. And these events are panel discussions. They're industry specific. So we invite female leaders from across different industries to talk about their experience in that particular field, talk about their opinions, their ideas for the future, and how they are shaping and what will shape the industry in the next 5 to 10 years. And also we at AKIN Asia run trainings and workshops as well, female leadership training, workshops on communication, innovation, and leadership. And we also run like social networking meetings as well for people to connect and form communities and refer on contacts to one another. So we do a bunch of things.
Sounds like a great idea for a podcast, the panel idea.
Yeah, well, maybe you can help me with that.
Yeah,
We do a podcast. AKIN Asia does do a podcast. It's a very small. We don't have many listeners, but it's a very small podcast. But what we do is, I started with a contact who I know very well. Her name is Madeline, and I interviewed her. And I then asked Madeline to recommend on another guest. And then so she recommended another woman doing some fantastic work. So I interviewed her. And each one of our guests, we ask at the end of our podcast who we should interview next. So it's kind of a spiral, a chain,
Ooh,
similar to what you're doing, I guess.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so
That's
it's women it's women recommending women about the work that they are doing, and then I interview them on that. Yeah, it's really fun.
The logo for AKIN Asia, who came up with that idea?
That's my fantastic graphic designer. She herself and I worked very closely together on that. But the graphics and designer is something I'm very proud of. Yeah,
it's pretty amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, well, tell us why you will continue to repeat the skills of networking and relationship building.
Why will I continue to repeat this skill? I think it's really important, and it goes back to actually one of my favorite quotes, which I'll share with you. And the quote says, "A simple hello could lead to a million things." And I really believe that it's whoever you connect to, whether they're a professional contact, whether they're a personal friend, whether they're someone who you don't really know but will get to know further, that simple hello, that simple connection could lead to who knows where, could lead to many opportunities in the future. And I think that's a beautiful thing about the human connection and human relationships. So that's why I will continue to do what I'm doing.
Love it. Where's the best place for someone to connect with you, Nicola?
Oh, everywhere. Probably Twitter. My Twitter handle is N_JC_. So N for Nicola, underscore JC for Jones-Crossley underscore. And then also on my email, you can email me, Nikki, NICKY @akinasia.com.
Now, what's one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years?
One other thing, well, I've got here connected people. I connect people. That's what I do, and that's what I really love to do. So whether again it's a friend looking for a great yoga studio, I recommend her on to someone I know who runs a yoga studio. Whether it's someone looking for graphic design work, I connect people. That's what I do, and that's what I love to do.
Do you do yoga?
I don't.
Okay, it's intriguing. You've pulled on yoga immediately.
Yeah, it is interesting. I'm not sure why that came about. I mean, there are fantastic yoga studios here in Bangkok, and I do know a couple of women that actually run these yoga studios. So maybe that's why it's on the top of my head.
Maybe that's why. Who knows why? So how does it make you feel, though, to be the person that's connecting someone, creating that hello effect, if you would?
Yeah, I don't know. I love it. It gives me energy to know that I've had a small hand in connecting those two people and seeing that relationship bloom, however that might be, whether that's a professional collaboration or whether that's a personal friendship that grows out of that connection. It just makes me feel energized and happy to know that I've planted that seed.
Suggest to someone that's listening why they should begin to plant seeds as well with relationships.
Well, I think you need to be a people person to be able to do that. I mean, it's not for everyone. Not everyone is comfortable being a people person. But if you're open to meeting new people and are interested in helping others, I believe that it's kind of like karma. It comes back to you in the long run. And I've felt that myself in my own work and with my own journaling. The good karma that I've kind of put out it comes back in some form or another. So I really believe in that.
Amazing audience, you're hearing it live from Nicole Jones-Crossley, again of AKIN Asia. That's AKIN Asia. You can check out the podcast as well. Nicola, let's switch gears for a moment now and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Nicola, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory. Now, this is something that I'm not 100% sure whether it's my own memory or if it's one of those things where you've just been told this story so many times that you think you personally remember it. But my earliest memory is of my mom giving birth to my younger sister, actually. So it goes on to your second question, but I would have been 3.5 years at that time. And my mom had a birth at home. So we had one of those blowing up swimming pools, and she was in that having a water birth to my sister, giving birth to my sister.
Wow. How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
That's an interesting question, and I really had to reflect on that actually for this podcast. Why did that memory come up? And I think why it's so clear for me and why it's kind of at the forefront of my mind today was what was pivotal about that memory was that I was, as a 3.5-year-old, I was trying to comfort my mom. She was there in the swimming pool giving birth to my sister. Obviously, it's very, very painful. And myself, as a 3.5-year-old, saw that my mom was in pain, and I tried to go over to her and give her a hug or to comfort her. And she, being so distressed, pushed me away. And as a 3.5-year-old, I didn't understand why. It was the first time, that my mom had actually pushed me away and not wanted me to be with her there, I guess. And I think that was the first time that I needed to learn to share, and also that I had to fight for what I wanted, and having to fight and really vocalize why I wanted to be with my mom and what I wanted to do. And that's really continued into all of my work today, actually. I'm a hustler. I fight for what I want. If it doesn't work the first time, I go out and try and make it happen the second time. It's I never give up.
That's amazing. Wow, you definitely did the work, right? You did the homework. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Absolutely.
I love the idea of the imagery of what goes with the emotions of what's necessary to create relationships, to plant seeds, to bear fruit, if you would. most definitely the interpretation can, as you so well put, look as though it's someone pushing you away, even in relationship building. But
Right.
sometimes body movements or the things we naturally learn to interpret are not the best things to use to go forward. So just like your mother is doing that at that particular point in time, it's
Right.
similar to the relationships that we bear, right? Where sometimes we reach out and it seems as though someone's pushing us away,
Right.
whereas it's just something that's part of their story. So it's good
Yeah.
to return to that place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And maybe, that they're pushing us away might not have anything to do with you or you personally at that time. It has something to do with that person's own personal journey, as you rightly said,
Yeah.
wherever they are in their place at their time. Yeah, interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome. But there's one other thing I'd like to add as well,
Mm.
which is the beauty of the buffer of the water for the seed that you're bringing forward, the seed that has been planted that brings fruit, and to see that you're doing that via the networks that you're creating. It's something like all right, the networking groups, the accountability, if you would, that you're creating, that creates a buffer for the fruit that individuals are bringing forward. So there isn't much pain, if you would, or damage, right? So the baby is born
Right.
and falls into the water, and that in itself carries an entire new growth process, right? So to see
Right.
you doing that for others is pretty amazing as well.
Oh, wow. Every connection that I create is like giving birth to a whole new relationship, I guess.
Yeah, and your network
Interesting.
creates a beautiful connection, if you would, again for others, which is just beautiful to see. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. You're welcome. So if we fast forwarded to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
Oh my goodness. Probably something from Britney Spears or Michael Jackson.
All right.
I don't have one particular song that jumps out of me.
All right.
I know that I was very into the musical called Wicked. I'm not sure if you know of it. It's the story after the Wizard of Oz. Oh, sorry, no, the story prior to the Wizard of Oz. But is a big musical named Wicked, which I was very much into the soundtrack from that. But I think that came a little bit later in my life.
Well, Nicola, we've arrived at our destination now, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
I am.
Nicola, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes.
Are you married?
No, not yet.
Okay. Do you have children?
No.
Do you believe in God?
I believe in a higher being, yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
I do. They're somewhat scattered around the world now, but yes, I do have a very close group.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
I don't.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yeah, probably I'd say I'd watch about 5 hours a week, maybe.
What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Yeah, I think I would probably have around about 5 hours a day of screen time. It's quite a lot.
Well, statistically, from those that I've interviewed, that is pretty excellent.
Oh, really? Okay. Good. Glad I'm doing all right then.
If you, Nicola, had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Nicola Jones-Crossley, what would you say that is?
Oh gosh, that's a hard one. I would go back to that original quote though that I mentioned. A simple hello can lead to a million things. I really think that kind of combines who I am and what I do.
Love it. Nicola, this has been a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. The last thing that I wanted to share, and that again is at the top of my mind, is another quote, and this time it's from Richard Branson. But it says, if someone gives you an amazing opportunity, but you're not sure that you can do it, say yes, and then figure out how to do it later. And that's something that I have often taken advantage of as well in my life. And I think that if you live your life like this, if you kind of go out on a limb and just say yes to every opportunity that comes your way, that you're going to have a really amazing, challenging, and roller coaster of a ride.
Nicola Jones-Crossley, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you very much, Angel.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.